Here's why the Subaru Impreza P1 is a fan favorite. Subaru and Prodrive, the Oxfordshire-based racing and engineering company, were a dominant figure in motorsport in the 1990s, largely thanks to Colin McRae's magic behind the wheel of that iconic Impreza 555. Subaru's global image had shifted from a manufacturer of city cars and minivans to one of the frontrunners in performance engineering, developing all-wheel drive cars that few could rival. But it isn't just the tracks where Prodrive has helped bolster Subaru's image, since the company has provided its expertise with an array of road-going vehicles over the years, too. Perhaps the most sought-after of all, though, is the Subaru Impreza P1. The P1 was developed in accordance with Prodrive as not just a way to increase Subaru's status in Europe but also as a reaction to the increasing number of high-powered variants of the Impreza being imported onto the grey market. The P1 soon became a bit of a favorite among Subaru enthusiasts, thanks to its limited production run and ties to Prodrive's rallying success. So let's take a detailed look at why this is the case. The Subaru Impreza P1 was developed to take on the competition. The 1990s was a great time for Japanese performance cars. Names like the Mitsubishi Evo, Nissan Skyline GTR, or Subaru Impreza STI need very little introduction. Each one held that poster on the wall level of desirability, thanks in part to the way they performed on the racing circuits. There was, according to Drive Tribe, one small setback for those looking to purchase cars like this in Europe. They were only available in Japan, with a lack of type approval meaning dealers were unable to sell them. Mercifully, though, there was a whole load of independent dealers who would import them for those looking to get their hands on one. This, then, formed much of the basis of the P1, with Subaru and Prodrive developing the only two-door Impreza type approved for Europe, allowing them to regain some control over the market. But Subaru wasn't the only company capitalizing on its success on the rally circuits, with Mitsubishi launching its Lancer Evo V Tommy Makinen edition around the same time. So Subaru certainly had some strong competition. Both were limited edition versions of the standard car, and both were inspired by two of the very best rally drivers of that era. This, along with the desire to reassert control over the European market, formed part of the aim with the P1, to outperform the Evo V. The Subaru Impreza P1 can do 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. The P1, which stood for Prodrive 1, was based on the Impreza WRX STI Type R, though it was given a bespoke suspension tune, with firmer springs and dampers making it more suited to European roads. According to reviews, much of the car's speed comes down to its excellent body control and the work Prodrive had done here, with dips and bumps in the road posing no issue for the P1. Perhaps the most interesting features came by way of the P1's Oz wheels, front spoiler, and rear spoiler. All three were developed by legendary McLaren designer Peter Stevens. According to Evo, the bulk of the work carried out on the P1 was centered around meeting European noise, emission, and safety regulations, with EQ and exhaust work being the focus. All of Prodrive and Subaru's clever work meant that the P1 was every bit as quick as the Japanese spec Imprezas, all while ensuring those tougher regulations were met. The P1 came with a 2-liter, dual overhead camshaft, 4-cylinder engine that developed a healthy, and still remains so today, 276 bhp and 260 lb-ft of torque, matching the figures of all those grey imports that were hitting European roads. A clever move by both companies, then, with the P1 regaining the attention of Subaru enthusiasts. This meant the P1 was quick, too, with it reaching 60 from 0 in just 4.8 seconds as well as offering a top speed of 150 miles per hour. Those are strong figures today and crazy ones for a car developed in the late 90s. This put the P1 in a totally different league to the Impreza Turbo, increasing its horsepower by 58 and shaving 1.5 seconds of its 0 to 60 time. The only color option you could have with the P1 was Sonic Blue, but that didn't matter. It only furthered the similarities with that iconic rally spec car. The interior was given a bit of an upgrade, too, with suede effect Recaro front seats and Prodrive badged floor and boot mats. The radio, however, didn't come as standard, leaving buyers with the options of paying a little extra or having one fitted themselves. But really, the P1 was never about comfort or luxury, and it didn't pretend to be, either. Rather, it was about performance, and that was something it did very, very well.